Hey, que la que hay, mi amigos? Rocky here from SpeakSpanishFaster.com. In el video de hoy, we are going to talk about why the type of Spanish that you learn isn't as important as you may think. Now, this is one of the biggest problems I see many of my students have when they're learning Spanish is they don't really have clarity on which type of Spanish they want to learn. Do they want to learn a more Puerto Rican or Cuban or Dominican type of Spanish, or do they want to learn Mexican type of Spanish, or do they want to learn a Spain type of Spanish? There's so many different Spanishes in the world. Which one is the right one, right? That's the question. Which one should I take the time to learn? And it's even a more difficult question if you don't really have any ties to any other countries. Like, let's say if you're Puerto Rican and you don't speak Spanish, you're probably going to want to learn Puerto Rican type of Spanish. Or if you're always around people from Mexico and let's say your neighborhood's all Mexican, then you'll probably want to learn a more Mexican type of Spanish. But what if you just really don't have ties to anyone and you just want to speak Spanish? There's so many different types of Spanishes out there. Which one do you learn? Is it really important which one that you learn? How important is it? So the first reason why the type of Spanish that you learn is not important is because you will never ever be able to please everybody. All right, so even me being able to speak Spanish, and because I'm Puerto Rican, and I lived in the Dominican Republic, I have kind of a mixture of the two, like depending if I'm talking with more Dominicans or Puerto Ricans. I remember I was watching an interview with Romeo Santos from Aventura, and he was on the Breakfast Club, and they said, you're Dominican, right? And he said, well, people forget that my mom's Puerto Rican and my dad's Dominican. And when I'm talking to my dad, I'm like, que lo que, and talking Dominican. And then when I'm talking with my mom, I'm talking straight Puerto Rican. And I think I'm kind of the same way. Like, I have kind of both dialects, both Spanishes, which they are different. I speak kind of a mixture of the two. Now, there's some people from other countries, other Spanish speakers that may comment on a video of mine or comment on a post of mine and say that, oh, I don't know Spanish, my Spanish isn't good, I'm teaching you a ghetto or hood type of Spanish, simply because my dialect is different than their dialect. Yes, in their country, the characteristics of my Spanish might be what you consider ghetto, but in my country, that's how the majority of people speak. So at the end of the day, me speaking Spanish, still I can't please other native speakers from other countries. So if you're learning Spanish, you can't look to speak a Spanish that pleases other people because you're never going to be able to please everybody. You could spend all your time wanting to master a Puerto Rican type of Spanish. And let's say you finally master it, you feel good about yourself. And then somebody from Spain or somebody from Mexico or somebody from Colombia says, oh, I don't like your accent. You don't speak Spanish good. You speak like you're from the ghetto. You speak like you're from the hood. You're probably not going to feel good about your Spanish, and you're probably going to second guess like, oh, should I have learned Puerto Rican Spanish? So the real important thing when you're learning Spanish is pick a Spanish that you want to learn. Don't base your Spanish off of what other people tell you. Don't base the type of accent you have or the words you learn. Don't let other people influence the type of Spanish that you want to learn. Choose one. I would say listen to many different types. If you have no clue, listen to many different types. See which one you think sounds best. And then pick that one and focus on that one. Learn that one. Again, there's so many different types. It's very hard to master Spanish if you don't really dial it in and focus on one type. Okay, because then you're going to have like mixtures of accents and it's just going to be tough. So the best thing to do is pick one place that you really like and follow it. Try to speak, similar to them. What I like to recommend students to do is pick one person. Usually it's like a celebrity, because you can find a lot of interviews with those celebrities and you can really pick up on their accent, on their dialect, and kind of on the way, the rhythm that they speak. And that's how you can sound more authentic. Now, if you're trying to sound like all these different accents or styles of Spanish, it gets really difficult to feel confident about yourself and feel confident about your Spanish. So again, find Spanish that's important to you. It doesn't matter what other people think. Now, the next reason why it doesn't matter which type of Spanish you learn is because all the Spanish-speaking countries can understand each other. Is it more difficult? Yes. Like if I go to Spain, I have like a little transition period where I have to kind of get used to their accent like the first time I went to Spain. And when I talk to them, sometimes it took them some time to get used to me, but at the end of the day, we can all understand each other. So no matter which Spanish speaking country you go to, if you can speak Spanish, I don't care what your dialect or type of Spanish you're speaking, you'll be able to understand the people in that country. They will be able to understand you. Will you maybe have to speak slower and speak more clear if you have more of an accent like mine? That's a Caribbean accent. And sometimes if I go to Spain or somewhere, I know I'm going to have to slow it down and speak a little more clear so they can understand me. And maybe you can tell them, hey, speak a little clearer, speak a little slower so I can understand you because your Spanish is way different than me. But either way, you guys will be able to understand each other, okay? So it doesn't matter what type of Spanish you're speaking, okay? There's no wrong one. Pick the one that you like and take that Spanish with you no matter where you go. It will work. Now, the next reason why the type of Spanish you speak is not really that important is because you have to figure out and be comfortable with the Spanish that you are speaking, and that's going to help you speak overall Spanish better. Because if you're always second guessing yourself, am I saying this word right? Am I saying that word right? Then you're going to struggle in real live conversations. And this is even something I have to think about because, like I said before, when I teach Spanish, I like to teach a more neutral version because I have students that want to learn all different types of Spanish. Not everybody wants to learn the Puerto Rican or Caribbean type of accent. So when I'm teaching, I do teach a more neutral version, but I have to think harder because I know I have to pronounce all my words. That's not natural for me, okay? It's not natural for me to say, vamos a hablar. That's not natural for me. What's natural for me is to say, vamos a hablar. That's what's natural for me. So I have to think about what I'm going to say. Now, if I was in a real live conversation with another Spanish speaker and I was forced to speak 100% the proper way, as they say, I would probably have to think about every word that I'm saying because it's not natural it's basically like a new language for me. All right. So the more that you think about the Spanish that you're speaking, the harder it's going to be to have it be fluent, to be confident, to actually not have to think before you speak, which is going to help you understand others. Because if you're constantly thinking about what to say, or you're constantly thinking about how to translate and how to respond, then you're going to have trouble understanding somebody and being able to respond in a reasonable amount of time. Like it's just going to get lost there. So that's why you got to find the Spanish that you want to do, be comfortable with it, and just speak it. And don't hesitate. I'm different than, like, you don't have to learn a neutral type of Spanish or the perfect type of Spanish, as you can say, the real type of Spanish, because you're not teaching other people. It's just like an English class, right? They teach us the proper way to say things. Hello, hi. That's how they'll teach you to speak English. But when I'm out with my friends, I'm like, yo, what up? They don't teach us that in English class. It's the same thing with Spanish. Now, just because I say, yo, what up, that don't mean I'm from the ghetto or from the hood or that I don't know English, right? So it's the same thing with your Spanish. Just because you may have a different type of slang or whatever, it doesn't mean that your Spanish isn't good. It doesn't mean that you don't know Spanish or that your Spanish is ghetto. It just means that's your dialect and that's how you talk. So be proud of that and be confident in it. And don't worry. Again, this kind of ties back to the first tip. Don't worry about what other people say. So if you follow these 3 things, it will help you. Now, obviously, you got to put in the work. You have to practice your Spanish. You have to try to fully immerse yourself as much as possible. Watch more Spanish TV. I'll do a video on some because I've been getting a lot of questions from people in our membership community of 7-Day Spanish. I've been getting questions from people like, what are the best shows on Netflix to watch, or what are some podcasts to listen to and stuff like that. So I might do a video about that here soon. But in this video, I really wanted to give you more of a kind of a guideline to follow when you're learning Spanish so you can actually learn it instead of always being insecure. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons people don't speak Spanish. It's not because they don't know the words. It's because they're scared to speak it. And why are they scared? Because they think that Spanish people are going to make fun of their Spanish. Just like how literally Spanish speakers will make fun of my Spanish. So I can see why students can be afraid. I can see why it's intimidating. But at the end of the day, you got to say, I don't care what you think. I'm going to speak my Spanish how I speak it. And yeah, do your thing. So if you found this video helpful and you're looking for more Spanish training to help you really become comfortable and become fluent in your Spanish, simply click the first link in the description or in the comments. I'll pin it in the comments for you. That's going to take you to a page where you can sign up for our free training class that's really going to help you learn Spanish faster. I reveal my 3 biggest secrets that can really start helping you speak and comprehend Spanish faster. So you can go there, you can sign up right now. If you enjoyed the video, you already know what to do. Hit the thumbs up for me, comment below, let me know if you need help with anything else, any other topic ideas you want me to talk about. I'm here for you. And last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Until next time, I will see you then.